If it's not, we're gonna fight somebody. All this. Start freeloading. How long does it take? Oh. I just want to know if it's working, because it should be. I just want to know if it's working. Oh, okay, it is. It is, it is, it is. We pause this. Pause this. Okay, yeah, no, everything's working. We're good, we're good, we're good, we're good. So now, back to the scheduled programming. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna give everybody like a second to get in this sheet.
For identification.
We pause, we wait. My bad, my bad. Things just, it broke. It broke. Hopefully everybody comes back. Fun times with technical difficulties. I'm so ready for this though. I am so ready. I'm gonna go ahead and start. I'm gonna start over there.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, would you tell us your full name and your place of employment?
James Downing. I'm an investigator for the Medical Examiner's Office, Volusia County, Daytona Beach.
And how long have you been employed with the Medical Examiner's Office?
For 5 years.
Could you describe to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury some of the duties that you have as an investigator for the Medical Examiner's Office?
Objection, Your Honor.
Next, no rule. Go ahead.
Why? I don't understand why he.
We get the initial call advised
stuff.
by the police department of a death that occurs within Volusia County that is a, other than, shall I say, of natural means.
Wait.
Objection, Your Honor.
No, that's not it.
Overrule.
Oh, he just keeps overruling everything, but I don't. I mean, really, I don't understand.
Jurisdiction.
No, you don't have to do that. That's what you do.
Okay, well, we get the call from the police agency, whoever it is, and we determine from the phone call whether or not we will respond to the scene, investigate the scene along with the police agency to determine the manner and cause of death.
Were you on duty on December 13th, 1989?
Yes, sir, I was.
During the course of
He seems very cool,
your
calm, and collected.
To go out and assist the police in the reclamation of the body that was found in the Ormond Beach area of Volusia County.
Yes, sir, I did.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Yes, approach the witness. Tell us what you think. I needs to know.
Is the defendant seen these you have here?
Yes, sir. Sit back just for a moment to separate something.
Yes, sir.
The tea is still too hot. Okay. So what is he approaching the witness with?
Sir, let me show you what has been marked as an exhibit for identification purposes at this time that states E2 for identification. Ask you if you can recognize that photograph.
Yes, sir, I do.
Is that a fair and accurate representation of the scene as you saw it on December the 13th, 1989?
Yes, sir, it was.
Let me show you, sir, what has been placed in evidence. Excuse me, what is marked for identification purposes that states E4 for identification purposes. Ask you if that is a fair and accurate representation of the scene as you saw it at that time.
Yes, sir, it is.
Surprised that they don't show like.
I show you, sir, what has been
Ladies and
previously
gentlemen of the
introduced in
jury.
evidence and admitted
You know what
as
I mean?
evidence that states 8.1 and 8.2, a composite exhibit. Ask you if you can recognize those photographs.
Yes.
Are they fair and accurate representations of the scene that you were describing to the jury that you went to on December 13th, 1989?
Yes, sir, they are.
Let me show you also for the purpose of
I get my thinking cap
sir,
on.
states E composite 5.
This is my thing. Why is he there Because
fair and accurate
honestly, it
representation of the scene as you
seems
saw
to
it on
me like
December
she's
13th,
not denying
1989.
that
Yes, it is.
she killed
Let me
them.
show you, sir, what is in Mark Estates L 1 and 2. Do you recognize those photographs?
Yes, sir, I do.
Those, along with the other photographs that I've shown you at this time, do they fairly and accurately represent the scene as you saw it on December the 13th, 1989?
Oh, yes, they do.
And lastly, let me show you sort of in Mark Estates Q for identification purposes. Do you recognize that photograph?
Yes, I do.
And sir, does that photograph fairly and accurately represent the scene as you saw it on December the 13th, 1989?
Yes, sir, it does.
Now,
Okay.
if I may, sir, can you describe the scene as you observed it for the first time on December 13th?
That Monopoly man mustache.
Of the human remains when you arrived.
No objection to the witness refreshing himself with the photographs or any other document if he needs to.
Objection overruled, you may proceed.
I said no objection, Judge, I'm sorry, if you've ever seen it.
All right.
Why-
For the record to reflect.
Yeah, if you'd like to, that's fine with us.
Could you describe the scene as you observed
I would
it
hope
when
so.
you arrived on December 13th?
Okay, the scene was a wooded area off of US 1, approximately 1/2 of a mile north of I-95 in Volusia County. It was off of the southbound side, and there is a trail which is represented by this photo that we showed here, and this is quite relatively accurate
Your
as...
Honor, object to the publication, however.
At this time, without showing the
Okay.
photo, let's describe what you observed.
Okay.
Then we'll get into the photo.
There was a trail leading off into the woods, which was the first thing I saw from the roadway.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
What if anything did you see after making those initial observations?
Well, I met with the sheriff's deputies that were there, and they told me that, you had to follow the trail back in for a short ways, and that, that's where the body was that they had reported to me over the phone.
Did you see anyone there other than law enforcement officials at that time?
And upon my initial response,
When you arrived?
when I arrived there
you found
initially-
the body.
I'm not absolutely positive. There was some news media there later, but I don't know when I got there, at what point they arrived.
Okay, sir, but in relationship to where the body was, were any of the news media allowed?
No, just up by the roadway. There was a line placed across the
That's
entrance,
good.
and they weren't allowed to pass.
What do you mean by a line?
Just a crime scene line, either just marked as
Very
nobody could go
detailed.
past this particular point.
Is that to keep unauthorized personnel from coming in and contaminating a possible scene?
Yeah, that's
I hope
correct.
so.
Rephrase the question.
Do you know the purpose of that cordon being set off?
Yeah, it's to keep unauthorized personnel off the scene.
Thank you, sir. All right. Did you follow the trail that you described?
I mean, he was kind of leading. He
Yes, I did.
was. I agree with
The photographs that I
that.
had before you fairly and accurately depict what you observed.
Yes, they do.
What was the condition of the actual location where the body was in relationship to anything in the way of a covering?
Oh,
Objection leading, Your Honor.
Objection overruled.
You can answer.
okay. When I arrived, there was a...
He's like, I don't know what they
a
want
small
from me.
bump in the natural
He's like,
foliage that was covered by a maroon with a black trim rug, the type that you see in front of a business, the type that they take on and off and clean and like in front of a business. It was a good-sized rug, and it almost completely covered the body that was eventually removed from underneath the rug.
At this time, Your Honor, the state would offer what had been previously marked as exhibits in evidence.
Yes,
With the court's permission, may the clerk mark.
let her mark one, the one that I admitted, the one I denied. Didn't I admit one?
Yes, they had no objection,
My
Your
phone's
Honor, as I
dying.
understood it, to E2.
E2, no objection, Your Honor.
E2. That's the one you have to mark in the other.
That was State Exhibit 9.
Well, the clerk is marking it, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Sir, what you've previously identified as scenes
See, I wish I could read
at the
lips.
location on December the 13th, 1989, for the record, as being states E5 composite,
I wish I could read lips, because that would be
Q, and L2.
interesting. Look, okay, I need to bring this up again because I think it is wrong how they did her. Look at this shit. They didn't even dress her up. They didn't fix her up. They did kind of here, but look at that fucking hair. You mean to tell me that you couldn't put some curlers in her hair or anything, or give her a little bit of makeup, you're her defense attorney. The fuck? Like, what the fuck? Most people go and they're dressed nicely when they go to court, because the way that somebody appears in court makes a difference. I don't know. It was fucked up. Right! Exactly, and you can't even give her like nice outfit to put on during her trial. I mean, again, they did for her testimony, but why not anywhere else? Anyways,
This time, Your Honor.
I digress. Someone last time was like, it's not a fashion show, but like it makes a difference when you're in court trying to plead your case.
Yes, sir.
What has now been admitted as State's 9 in evidence, and what was previously admitted as State's 8-1 in evidence. Is that the condition
Just
of
my
the
opinion.
scene when you first arrived?
I want to know him as a lawyer, because he seems to be doing a lot. I want to know what his name is. Trisha Jenkins. Yeah, she was the main one. What? Hold up. Pause. Deliberately stalling the case. She was 35? She was 46 when she died. She looks much older than 46. Wow. Okay, sorry, I went down a tangent. Anyways, let's proceed. I was interested.
Yes, it is.
And sir, subsequent to the rug being
Yeah,
removed,
no,
you
she
did remove
rode
the-
hard and put up wet.
Yeah.
Like, she had a rough life. Which, I mean, she did since she was 4.
I believe it was a combination of.
I just didn't
one of the
realize that she
sheriff's
was
investigators
46.
And myself, we rolled the
That's
rug
not
back,
old
and I really
to
don't have a
be
complete independent
no longer
recollection
here.
of who actually removed the rug at this point. No.
Okay, were you present when the rug?
Yes, I was.
And did you document the condition of the body as you saw it while the rug was being removed and subsequent to the rug being removed?
Yes, I took photographs at every stage.
What was the condition of the body when you first observed it after the rug had been removed from it? In which way was it facing in relationship to the ground?
It was laying face down on the ground.
Okay, is that represented fairly in State's 10 for identification?
Well, when we first removed the rug, there was either 1 or 2 pieces of cardboard that were laying over the top of the back, which is represented right in here when they were removed. But after they were removed, this accurately represents the position of the body. The body was not moved, just the things that were on top of it.
Solely for the positioning of the body as you observed it after those articles were removed, this is a fair and accurate representation.
That is correct, yes.
Now, did there come a point in time, Judge, may we publish these at this time?
Yes, sir. Those are admitted in evidence.
Yes, sir.
That's 8 and 9, Your Honor.
Mr. Moore.
That would be
Interesting.
number 10, that was admitted by the court. Numbers 8, 1, and 9.
They're publishing. What does it mean to publish it?
Subject to previous objection.
Oh, I guess show it to the jury? Okay, I need to Google that, because I am not a lawyer. Oh. Oh, okay, so basically, okay, that makes more sense. They gotta basically ask permission to give it to the jury at that point. We proceed. We proceed, because needed to know.
Can you describe what, if anything, you did in relationship to removal of the body and what you observed?
Okay, the standard procedure in this and what we did in this particular situation is that we lay a sheet on the ground alongside of the body, and it was rolled over or picked up and set down over onto the sheet.
Why does he have so
on-
many?
on
This
the-
is
on
not
its back.
anything to do with anything, but he has so many rings on.
Observed at that time.
What are these
Correct.
rings?
There was,
Obviously, one's a wedding
blue
band. What's the
jeans,
other?
a white T-shirt, and a Cordovan type maroon shoes, leather-type shoes, and blue socks.
Can you describe whether or not the body had a belt buckle on it? A belt, excuse me.
The,
Yeah, look at the
yes,
pictures.
it was a brown leather belt.
What was the condition of the individual's pants?
They were,
Okay, go eat dinner, friend. Go enjoy your dinner. I'm just watching a court case about the murderer who is
The-
long gone
the
now.
pockets that were turned inside out on the pants pockets.
But I'm interested, so.
Yes,
That was immediately upon the body being turned over, is that correct?
yes, yes, sir.
How about the individual's zipper? Did you look at it at that time?
No, I didn't observe that, no.
Was anything done to disturb in any way the individual's clothing as you remove the body?
No,
Those photographs, states Q, states L, and states E5, fairly and accurately depict the body as you first observed it in the downward position, and then after it was rolled over into the upper position.
yes, sir, they do.
And that, do they fairly and accurately depict the condition of the pants, the shirt, and the belt, as well as the zipper that is contained in the
So-
photographs?
Yes, sir, they do.
Now, what, if anything, did you do with the individual that you found at the scene on that date? What is the next procedure?
We then place a body bag that we use for removal, and the sheet is wrapped around the body, and then the body in the sheet is placed into the body bag, and the zipper is placed closed on it for the removal, which we did at this scene.
Okay, now, once the body is removed, where does it go?
Normally, we take it to
I
Halifax
like that
Hospital. To
the
the morgue,
medical
which is
examiner
where-
is
which is
a
where
lot
we,
more consistent with
do
his
our
answers
autopsies.
than the officer.
Due to the advanced state of the decomposition in this particular case, we have rules with Halifax that we couldn't do that, so it was removed and placed in the cooler at Bellevue Cedar Hill Funeral Home for the night.
And did you attend an autopsy in regard to the remains that were found at the scene on December 13th, 89, the following day?
The following day, yes, sir, I did.
Let me show you, sir, what has been marked for exhibit purposes. It states M1 through 4. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Sir, do you recognize those photographs?
Yes, I do.
Those photographs fair and accurate representations of the remains that were removed from the
Oh my
scene on
goodness,
December
what a
13th,
keep up.
1989, to the medical examiner's office for autopsy purposes on December the 14th, 1989.
Yes, they are.
I feel like these are all
Yes, it
the
is.
Are they
Like,
fair and accurate representations
prosecutions,
prior to the actual
witnesses.
autopsy procedures themselves beginning?
Yes.
I'm always
Now,
interested
sir,
in
in regard
hearing
to
how they
the
respond to the
hands
opposition
that
because that's
individual
really where you
shown
get a
is
lot of what their
states and
personality is.
Are they still in substantially the same condition as they were when you first saw them at the scene on December the 13th, 1989?
Yes, that's exactly the same way they were.
They were not disturbed or removed in any?
No, sir, they were not.
Now, can you describe, sir, what, if any, procedure would be followed by the medical examiner's office in regard to Mr. Mallory's body?
From this point here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we would, Dr. Botting, the medical examiner at that time, would have instructed us, after these photographs were taken, to remove the clothing, which was done. And when it was taken in sections, the first thing to have been removed in this case would have been the shirt.
By the
And
shirt.
do you know what, if anything, was done with the shirt? after
By the
it was
shirt.
removed from the body?
It was placed into a paper bag. It was, the bag was marked and sealed, and all of the clothing at the end of the autopsy was turned over to the Volusia County
died.
Sheriff's Department.
Are you familiar with Investigator Lapp?
Yes, sir.
Do you know whether or not you turned the bag over to him?
Yeah, everything, all the evidence in this case was turned over to Jim Lau.
I don't really understand what his purpose is, like what he's showing
the,
for the prosecution, other than yes, this man is dead, which we knew.
Yeah, the shirt,
She
the pants,
never
the shoes,
contested
and the
to that.
socks were all turned over to Jim Lau on that date, 12/14 of '89.
Now, were you present during the autopsy?
Yes, sir, I was.
And during the course of that autopsy, were the victim's hands removed for fingerprint identification purposes?
Yes, they were.
And whose hand, and to whom did you give those hands?
I released them also to investigator Jim Lau.
And subsequent to,
Do we
Mr.
see
Lau
Jim Lau in
obtaining those
this?
hands, the report given back to your office as to the identity of the victim, Mr.
Is
Mallard?
he?
Yes, they were.
And was his death certified by the medical examiner's office?
No.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Richard Mallard.
Yes, sir. Richard Charles Mallory.
Objection, Your Honor, also witness was involved in the certification.
Korea. I'm interested in this one.
Lay it further prejudice, sir.
So I'll do that without the body.
Where is Eileen's portion?
Please, the court, at this time, state what offer has been previously introduced as an exhibit.
Oops, 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 oops.
Excuse me, Judge, at this time, the state will not make any tender at this time.
Are there more than just the 12? Fuck, there's a lot of parts to
Sir, would
this.
you conduct any further testing?
I don't know that we're gonna be able to watch all of these. Would we be offended if I just skipped?
Yes,
I
the full
honestly,
autopsy was
I'm more
conducted
interested in
by Dr. Bonnie at this time, yes.
Tyria's.
And were any x-rays produced in regard to, attempting
Let's
to
watch
determine
hers.
what caused-
That's what I'm interested in.
It may inquire.
Ma'am, would you tell us your full name, please?
I don't wanna watch
Aileen
all
Moore,
of it.
Ms. Moore, how old are you?
Tyria.
29.
And
She's
tell us where you're
29?
living presently in the state.
So hold up, wait a minute. So, well, she would have been. What was her age? She said, it said what, 46? Let's math that. So 46 minus 29. That's a 17-year age difference, and you didn't find that concerning?
Pennsylvania.
And who do you live with?
My sister.
Was there a time that you lived in the state of Florida in the Daytona Beach areas?
Yes.
I'd like to ask you if you know an Aileen Carol Wuornos, also known to you as Lee.
Yes, I do.
Did you know that individual under any other names?
Yes, I did.
The name Blahovic, one of the names you knew her as?
Yes.
You know her as under the name Grody.
Yes.
Did you ever know her to use the name Cammie Marsh Green?
Yes.
How is it that you knew this woman that you described as Aileen Carol Wuornos with the aliases that you told us about?
Objection to aliases.
Objection overruled. Ask the question if you can.
How is it that you came to know her?
I met her in a bar.
And did there come a point in time in
Okay.
your life that you and she formed a relationship?
Yes, we did.
How long did that relationship last?
About 4.5 years.
And could you describe the relationship
4.5
to
years.
us, in regards to your living arrangements, your working arrangements, things of that nature?
Well, we lived as lovers. And I worked quite a bit, and she worked as a prostitute.
During the time that you were living with the defendant,
Interesting.
the type of employment that you primarily
She
engaged
seems
in was
so
what?
cold.
Hotel work.
Did you ever engage in prostitution?
No.
Objection overruled. Go ahead.
You earned a salary,
Yes.
went to work on a daily basis when you could find employment,
Yes.
got a paycheck,
Yes.
used that to support yourself and Ms. Wuornos,
Yes.
and shared in the household bills.
Yes, I did.
Leading, Your Honor.
Rephrase your question.
What did you do with the money that you made from working at the hotel?
I helped pay bills.
And did, during that period of time, you and Ms. Wuornos live in one location throughout your relationship?
You're just
Objection leading, Your Honor.
Answer the
getting
question
so
overruled.
sleepy. I can feel it.
You can tell us. ma'am.
We'll watch
Can you
this
repeat,
one.
please?
During the 4 years that you lived together, were you always in one place or did you move about?
And we moved around a lot.
I'd like to take you back to December the 1st of 1989. Do you recall where you were living at that time?
At the Ocean Shores Motel in Ormond Beach.
And how long had you been at the Ocean Shores Motel on that occasion?
Approximately a month.
And did there come a time that you left the Ocean Shore Motel and moved to
Like
another
everything she says is so
Yes, there
flat,
did.
and I don't really understand
Can you tell us about when
why.
that occurred?
she sound so cold when
The
she's
1st of December.
testifying
Same day.
against someone that she was with
Right.
for 4.5 years?
Now, during that period of time, you see Aileen Wuornos on December the 1st, 1989?
Yes, I did.
And were you two living together at that time?
Yes, we were.
Okay, where were you when you first saw her? And can you describe to us, were you both at home at the same time, or did you come home from work, or were you going to work, or was she coming back from the location?
No,
Explain that to us.
I was in bed. It was early in the morning when she came in, and I was still sleeping.
Did you have a job at that time?
Yes, I did.
And what time did you have to go to work?
I believe it was 9 o'clock.
And did you go to work on that date, if you recall?
Yes, I did.
Well,
Why
before
did you
went
help
to
her
work,
find a job?
Did you have occasion to wake up? Obviously.
Yes, Lee came in.
Okay. Can you describe to us what, if anything, occurred, or what, if anything, you spoke about when she came in?
Well, she came in and she had a car outside and said that we were going to move. And we moved that day
Where did you move?
to Burley Avenue in Holly Hill.
There's a lot of
When
detail
you
to
moved,
remember.
Can you describe, if you would, what type of vehicle it was that you moved with? And first of all, was it your car?
No,
Did you ever see that car before that day?
no, hadn't.
Did you ever see that car after that date?
A photograph of it.
But physically, in Ms. Wuornos' possession or your own?
No, I never saw it after that day.
I just, there's something off about her. And I don't know if it's the fact that I know that she hid her lover murdering people.
Did you have to get ready?
Or what?
Were you expecting to move on that date?
Not on that particular day, no.
Okay, were your bags packed and ready to go?
There was some things packed because we had planned on moving.
And can you describe to us what, if anything, occurred during the process of your moving?
We took all of our possessions and put them in the car and moved them over
Just a
to
big
Burley Avenue.
sneeze.
Did the defendant, Ms. Wuornos, tell you at that time where she had been during the
No.
morning hours before you woke
I
up?
just can't get
No.
myself comfy
Did she tell you about
today.
anything that had happened?
No,
Did she say anything to you about anything odd happening or anything horrible happening? to you?
Objection, asked and answered, and leave, Your Honor.
Answer the question, you can.
no.
And was the move pretty much a routine move from the Ocean Shore Motel to the Burley Avenue address?
Yes,
During that time, can you tell us how you got there? Did you use this particular vehicle we're talking about?
yes, we
Objection,
did.
leading, Your Honor.
And who
Go
drove?
ahead and answer the question.
Who drove the car?
Lee did.
And can you describe how she was driving?
Just regularly driving.
Nothing abnormal about it?
No.
Objection, leading, Your Honor.
Can you describe, if you will, please, describe Lee Wuornos as you observed her after you woke up, before you moved to the Burley Avenue from the Ocean Shore Motel? As best you can, what do you recall that morning to be like, in your own words?
Very busy getting stuff out of the motel room, moving it into the car. She seemed
Okay,
fine. She was
so here's the thing. I'm pretty sure she did. I'm pretty sure she did an interview at some point. We're gonna skip around on this. There's things. I didn't want to watch all of it. Huh, okay. I just want to see.
Inseparable. That was the anchor Aileen had been looking for.
I don't know that she was gay. I think maybe she turned herself that way just to see
Her
if that
adopted.
life would work for her.
The two women lived like nomads, changing homes frequently.
I just want to see this
Aileen would
interview.
come home evenings and weekends. She and Ty would spend time watching television.
I'm
or
curious
drinking
now. I'm
alcohol.
curious. I'm sorry.
But her anger was always
She was
just
so
below
beautiful
the
when she was
surface.
young.
There was numerous times that her and I would go to a grocery store and somebody would look at her wrong and she would just like fly off the handle at them. Like, you know, what are you looking at me for? And it was very embarrassing a lot of times.
Despite Eileen's temper, Ty stayed with her.
But why?
He called her
I guess I don't really understand. I want to see more Aileen. I'm sorry. I'm like jumping all over the place. Because I'm just interested.
Self-described prostitute.
That's 30 minutes. I don't want to do that. This should be good. I want to watch this one. Let's watch some interviews of her. I don't know. I'm just kind of like that trial. I didn't realize how long it was.
Down dirt roads
It's gonna take us
like this,
forever.
that 7 men met the madness of one angry woman. Lee Wuornos murdered them,
Okay, I don't.
robbed them, and then drove
Yeah, that's
home
gonna come
in
up.
their cars.
Those men were shot, just shot in self-defense. Boom, boom, boom. You know, they weren't cut up, they weren't sliced up. No OJ jazz. You know. And he said, I did the most horrendous crime in the whole wide world.
Not true?
I guess not. All they were was shot and left. If it was a horrendous crime, why didn't I shoot them between the eyes, cut their penis off, stick it in their mouth, you know, do all kinds of gross stuff? All they were was shot and left, you know?
She's been called the
I don't
damsel
think
of death
that's exactly
and
good.
the from hell. But embellishment aside, the story of history's first female serial killer is macabre enough, even without its supporting cast of characters.
Oh, 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 yes, I'm a public defender.
First, there's Lee Wuornos' lawyer. She's given him the job
Interesting.
of getting her to the electric chair.
You want to plead out, that's what I'm all about.
Why is he doing this?
Just sign this no contest plea.
Then there's the serial killer's new mother. She
New
first
mother?
met Lee after her arrest, and then legally adopted her.
What?
You know, we believe in the Holy Spirit, and so we feel it was him prompting us that this person
What?
needed help. And
This
so we
woman
did, just
adopted
rejected
her?
So we did.
Fucking excuse
I met her in
me?
a bar.
What? I'm sorry. I don't understand. She adopted a serial killer?
And
Who does
there's
that?
Lee's gay lover,
Who says, you know what?
who betrayed her.
Serial killer needs love.
We were sitting on the floor watching TV.
I just don't get it.
And she just come out and said, I have something to
I
tell
don't
you.
get it.
And I asked her what, and she said that she had shot and killed a man that day.
Lee, it sounds like you've been betrayed by everyone.
That's right, I was.
Yeah.
That's why I don't care if I'm executed and leave this planet.
I kind of don't blame
If
her.
anyone was destined to end up here on death row, it was probably Lee Wuornos. Psychologists sketch a portrait of a damaged person with a lurid history of abuse that began in childhood. Abandoned
I
by
like
her
her
teenage
voice.
mother when she was
That's
just 6 months
neither here nor
old,
there.
Lee was raised by her alcoholic grandmother and a cruel grandfather who regularly
Okay.
beat her with his belt buckle. When she was 2, her father committed suicide in jail.
Rough.
He was doing time
Rough
for
stuff.
kidnapping and raping a child. By 13, she'd been raped and was pregnant. At 14, she quit school. And when her grandfather kicked her out of home,
Okay, sorry.
Lee Wuornos' life on the road
I
began.
I want to see more Aileen. I don't really care
From
about
age 15,
We've been
Lee
there, done that.
Wuornos worked prostitution's lowest and most dangerous
But-
trade. A hitchhiking hooker turning tricks from exit to exit on Florida's interstate highways.
Basically, I'd
That's
say
why it kind of
5 to
killed me
6
that he
guys
was like,
per day.
nobody's in
Interested.
that much danger in one of like her
They could be
last
interested in
interviews.
30,
Like,
they could be interested in 40. They could be interested for 100. I wasn't too high priced, so I could keep the customers satisfied. And, you know.
That all changed when she turned 33. After years of abuse and degradation at
God.
the hands of men, Lee
33.
Wuornos started evening the score.
is this their reenactment?
The killings all began.
I'm sorry, what was
a middle-aged man
Not
pulled
appropriate.
over
She
to
killed
pick up
people.
Lee Wuornos.
But what was
That's
this
the first
transition?
of just 2 facts on which everyone agrees. The way Lee tells it, she was just a hooker trying to turn a trick,
Okay.
and the men knew it. But the state of Florida maintains she tricked her victims by posing as a damsel in distress. The men thought they were helping her out. Either
Helping
way,
her out?
The second fact on which everyone agrees is that Lee Wuornos shot them dead. Maybe you were just born bad. How do you...
Boy, I don't know about you. I'm telling you, man. No, I wasn't born bad.
That shit happened.
I'm trying to tell you, man, they lied. They lied so bad to you all.
But you've been convicted of killing 7 men.
Everybody's looking at the number.
Does that not... You killed 7 men, 7 strangers. Does that not make you a serial killer?
So I didn't kill them every day, did I? Did I go out there every day and say, I'm gonna kill? If I did, there would be
Well, no,
hundreds.
it took you 12 months.
Yeah, and that's a hell of a lot of men I went through before the next jerk came along. And
I mean,
like a condom.
So it was
From AIDS.
It was self-defense.
Yeah.
Lee, the first one, perhaps. The second, maybe. But
So what?
7 times?
So what?
she worked as a highway hooker. What do you mean? Why does everybody think that that's like so unreasonable of a number for something like that? These men are already coming and getting a prostitute.
Close to broke, as usual.
They're already doing that. What makes people think that these men are just good men?
On this day, that was made easier by 2 undercover
Not the
cops.
jukebox,
They struck up a
baby.
conversation with her, bought her some more beer, and then
I don't
convinced
like
her
this
to step
interviewer.
outside. Lee was prepared for anything but the 6 Florida
That is-
police officers who arrested her. It was from this point the story of the first female serial killer becomes truly perplexing.
I mean,
First, her videotaped confession. Go ahead and put the electric chair to me. I should have never done it, she told police.
I mean, that's
By
fair.
the time of her trial,
That's
Lee
fair.
was pleading self-defense.
She loved you, didn't she?
Yes?
She said she'd do anything for you, didn't she?
Yes, she did. Her case wasn't helped
And
when
she did.
Tanya Moore, now very much her ex-lover, turned star witness for the prosecution.
And in
Sure
order
was
for
a star
her
witness.
To say what you wanted her to, you lied to her, right?
Yes. But it gets worse. Tyria had another deal going with the arresting police. They were trying to sell Hollywood the movie rights to Lee Wuornos' life and crazy times.
Why did you lie to her about those number of things?
What?
Because I wanted her to keep talking about the offenses so I would be cleared.
District Attorney Rick Ridgway is one of the
She
only
fucked
officials
her
willing to
over,
talk
which,
about
I
the
mean,
Wuornos
she did
case
murder
anymore.
people.
The police certainly
denying
won't,
that,
out of
but
sheer
damn.
embarrassment.
There was a tremendous amount of
Selling the rights to her
almost frenzy
story.
about the case, and
Not their
everybody wanted to
story.
get a scoop on the next guy about the case, and there were so many people who were willing to pander to that in order to be the one who gets quoted or who gets the movie made about them.
People from your own sheriff's office.
Well, unfortunately, yes, they did.
As the prosecutor, were you dismayed by that?
Well, to put it mildly, we went through the roof when we found out about it.
Oh, really?
In the end, it was only the producers of this American TV movie who were able to cash in on Lee's story. Tyria
They did
and the
eventually make a
police's
movie about her.
conspiracy to get rich quick came to nothing once they were caught. But that hasn't stopped Lee Wuornos suspecting that someone, somewhere, wants to exploit her name.
Yeah.
It's making me get bitter, evil, angry. I've never been before in my life.
Wow.
Worse than even out there with those men. This is evil, what those people have done to me.
Do you feel anger or even hatred towards men?
I never hated men, but now I do.
Okay.
Not all. I have a category. I hate those male. God. I hate those male
Say what you mean, girl.
cops. Real bad, because they're dirtballs.
Are they?
Cops, the judges, the lawyers, they're all male.
I have made peace with my Lord, and I have
asked forgiveness.
The final twist in this already mad tale was when Lee Wuornos decided to plead no contest to the remaining 6 murder charges.
I sentence you in case number 91-463 to death for the murder of Troy Burris.
Her lawyer, Steve Glazer, found himself in the bizarre position of helping his client take the express route to the electric chair.
County case number, I sentence you to death for the murder of David Spears.
I think she was ready, though.
Thank you. And probably see, I'll be up in heaven while y'all are rotting in hell.
In effect, though, weren't you
Right?
trying to kill your client?
Ma'am.
It's not what I was trying to do, okay? It's what she wanted to have done to her. She was tired of being in the spotlight. She was tired of reporters and police and lawyers, everyone making a career off of her. She did not like the man-hating killer label. She didn't like the lesbian killer angle. She didn't like what people were saying about her. And she knows if she has to go to trial 5 more times,
yeah,
she's going to be for the next 10 years.
Do you still believe she was competent to make that decision?
Without a doubt.
Okay, there will be an automatic appeal. You have the right to an appeal. Mr. Glazer, is that going to be handled by you
May
or the
your
public
wife and
defender?
kids get raped.
I would ask that you would appoint
Right.
the public office.
Okay, I'll appoint the public defender's
Aileen.
office to handle the appeal. There's one other thing that I want to say that I think needs to be said.
I know I was raped. You weren't nothing but a bunch of scum.
Therefore, these proceedings are now
Putting
concluded.
somebody who was raped to death.
Do you still want the
Damn.
chair?
There's no sense in having me tormented for the rest of my life when I
True.
don't deserve to be tormented. I
True.
did what anybody else would do. And so there's only clemency or the chair. You make your pick, people, because that's the only way it's going to be.
Why did you adopt Lee Wuornos?
That's my
For
question.
one reason and one reason only. We wanted her to know what it felt like to be part of a family.
Born-again Christian Aileen Prowley has a fondness for adopting stray animals. When she adopted
Did they
Lee,
just compare her to a
they
stray
arrived
animal?
together on her farm. Now she'd be happy just to keep her alive. That's
Oh,
it.
look,
Okay, that's about
look.
enough. There you go. Well, tell me this. How did you counsel Lee?
I told her to go for the life in prison. I told her that that would be the best. I told her that God could use her within the prison to help other girls that were hurting.
She
that
seems
didn't
like a
have
good woman,
relationship
but-
with Jesus, and that she could really be used mightily there. And we fought bitterly over it. She said that no human being had the right to tell another human being what to do with their life.
Stop the murder.
True. I guess okay, Fran. Do what you gotta do. I'm just gonna watch a couple more of these and then
Not
I'm
much
going to
fazes
bed.
the singing lawyer, Steve Glazer. Not the 3 heart attacks he's suffered since taking on this case. Nor the criticism he's endured for seeking Lee Wuornos' execution.
They're making him look like a bad lawyer.
Never died upon the chair.
Has this case been good for your career?
I don't understand.
But that's life, you take oblada, life goes on, you try something else.
Is there anyone in this cast of characters who isn't a little bit crazy, a little bit eccentric?
I think you got to be a little wild to be in this business.
Yeah.
If Steve Glazer has done his job, Lee Wuornos could be executed in this chair within 3 years. She's waived her right to appeal.
If he hears no last-minute stays from the governor's office, the electrode then is placed on top of the inmate's head. It's an actual
They ended up doing
electrode inside. It's
lethal
secured onto his
injection.
head. One of these electrodes here is then fastened onto the top of the headpiece.
Alone and lost in her own nightmare, Lee Wuornos is an American horror story.
Wow.
She could escape death row, but her bitterness and hate will see Lee become the first woman in over a century to be executed in Florida. Aren't you afraid?
No, I'm not afraid. I know where I'm going. I'm going to be with the Lord.
Thank you,
Take
too.
care of yourself and tell everybody else hi.
Wow.
Do you want to die? You want to?
Oh man, if I was to leave this planet, it wouldn't be no big deal to me, because this is a wicked, wicked world. Wicked world.
So many people did her wrong, honestly. Honestly, though.
Hello, I'm Alison Lane.
Okay, let's look at another one. For direct examination. This 12 minutes? Maybe. Maybe we do that. What's this? 1 day before execution.
You know, I was just wondering how you're going
Oh, yeah.
be, you know, at 9:30 tomorrow morning. Are you prepared?
I'm prepared. I'm all right. I'm all right with it.
That's so sad that she's just okay with dying
I'm all
like
right
that.
with it,
Like, I don't
but
know.
Like I said, remember,
I just think it's
tell
so
folks,
sad.
Let them know that I know that.
I think I've
cops
watched
knew
this
who I
one.
was after Richard Mallory.
Wow. Yeah, no, we watched that one, and the interviewer was fucked up. He's like, no, it's 100% her. Can't believe that she even says all that. Like, he was just an asshole.
I got a message that Aileen wanted me to come meet her at the local jail. She had something to say.
He's a bad interviewer.
Okay, I cannot go in the execution chamber and die in the execution chamber as a liar. And I cannot go in the execution chamber and be executed under the devil. I have to come clean and cleanse my spirit in the name of Jesus Christ. So I have to come clean and tell the world the lies that went on through my mouth. I mean, now prosecutors and cops.
And that you killed the 7 men.
Huh?
That you killed those men in cold blood.
Yeah, and I got to come clean that I killed those 7 men in first-degree murder and robbery. As they said, they had it right. A serial killer. Not so much like thrill kill. I was into the robbing biz. I mean, you know, serial killers are in this thrill killing jazz. I was into the robbing, just and eliminate a witness. But still, then again, I got a number, so it's serial killer. But I'm coming clean before I go in that execution chamber and be executed. That I killed him.
And so
like
when
this.
you met them, from the beginning, did you know that you were going to kill them? When they picked you up in their cars?
I pretty much, I had pretty much had them selected that they were going to die.
But when you're saying that there was no self-defense, so there was no self-defense?
No, there was no self-defense. I'm being really straight up about everything. There's no self-defense. I'm really sorry what happened about everything. I was in this
Wow.
To me, this world is nothing but evil, and all of us are.
I don't know
evil
that
one
that's
way or another.
entirely true.
In whatever we do, we have evil in us. All of us do, and my evil would just happen to come out because of the circumstances of what I was doing. Hitchhiking, hooking, on the road. I was a homeless person all my life. And then the hitchhiking, hooking, I learned off the homelessness and cruising all over the United States of America and stuff. And so learning how to be a hooker as a hitchhiker eventually got tiring. In the end, I carried the gun for protection, but then I got where I was getting a real problem. Our rent was due, $1,200 behind. Tyra was doing a lot of beer drinking and stuff. She wanted to go out all the time, so she was burning up the money I was making. I was making good, about $200-300 a day, sometimes. Sometimes $150.
Did she know what you were doing?
Oh yeah, Ty always knew everything I was doing.
So you were very close.
Yeah, we're.
All right.
Oh, she's still smiling over
And
her.
I still miss her, and I still love her, but I'm really sorry about everything I've done. I miss Ty. I lost Tyra over this. And then the people that lost their loved ones and everything. I really think first about the people that lost their loved ones and then Ty second. Because I have to put them in first on this whole thing. I'm really sorry for, them losing their loved ones, man.
Wow.
And what about with Richard Mallory? Because you gave that testimony with Richard Mallory.
Yeah, Richard Mallory was not self-defense. Richard Mallory I killed he had, I needed his wheels to move the stuff, and he had the right amount of money I needed to move into the apartment, so.
But what about the testimony that you gave in court about?
Oh, that's just, like I was saying.
About the Visine and...
I don't know that this is...
That was just my lying gig, try to beat the system.
Really? So that was really all, none of it was true? Because in court you gave such a graphic description of what had happened with Richard Mallory.
Yeah, after sitting around thinking how I could drum up a story.
I don't believe that.
That was pretty convincing.
I don't think that's true.
Was it? That's sad.
Well, I thought so.
God, that's sad. Well,
See, okay, she just. Well, I lied.
And it's not that you just decided that you
No, she
wanted to
didn't.
die and you wanted to get it over and done with, that you changed your
I almost feel like she's trying to give
No.
other people peace.
the reason is
Which is really
serious.
sad.
There's no
Like,
way, and nobody
nobody
should go to
ever
the
gave her
execution
peace.
chamber dying on a hope for a lie, and even by the second, make it out of this thing on a lie.
But I heard, you know, that you just couldn't stand being on death row after 12 years.
Nick, this is the last time I'm going to say it. You have to kill Aileen Wuornos because she'll kill again.
I do believe that. I do believe that she would kill again. Okay, I need to send out a raid. Let's see who's on. Who's on? I like to typically go towards the bottom.
Hi friends, how are you today? I hope you're having a
Didn't want that. Alright, we raid. We send raid. We raid. Oh, I do so. Alright, I'm gonna go try to get some sleep because I am super tired. So I'll talk to you guys later.